Hi, today we're going to talk about mindset, specifically math mindset. Unfortunately, it's a topic that gets looked over way too much, but lucky for you, you're watching this video. You're going to go from struggle to swagger with this math mindset. Unfortunately, a lot of times I hear the myth, I'm not a math person, and I often tell whoever's telling me that is, are you doing math? Yes. Are you a person? Yes. Then you're a math person. In this video, we're going to talk about neuroplasticity, about how the brain makes different connections, especially when you're learning new things. We're also going to talk about having a growth positive mindset and the importance of having it and how it can dramatically change the results of anything that you're doing. And a different way that you can learn either visually or practice or whatever works best for you. And then when your mindset is positive, you have a confidence boost, and that boost can make a world of difference. All right, so let's get into it. The importance of math mindset. Again, one thing that I always say is whether you think you can or can't, you're right. And if you are going into situations, I can't do this, I'm not going to be able to do this, I'm going to fail. You're probably going to fail. But once you work on that mindset, then you're unlocking your potential. And again, like I said earlier, it builds confidence. It's a big difference, especially if you have a huge exam, going into it saying, yeah, I think I got this, versus, oh no, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then not just with math, but just mindset in general. Anytime you feel yourself kind of being negative or, of course things happen and you're going to be sad, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the things that you tell yourself that might necessarily be true. Math can be challenging, but it is for everyone, and math is everywhere. Those are a couple of things on why it's important. Now, let's talk about this neuroplasticity word. And every time you learn something, your brain actually grows and it changes and builds over time. Every time you're doing something that you haven't done before, you're actually giving your brain, I say, like a little mini workout. And problem solving is everywhere. One of the main functions that you will be doing when you are using math is trying to solve some kind of problem. We have problems that we are trying to solve every single day. You can't say, well, math doesn't pertain to my life. Yes, it does. You might not realize you're solving an equation when you wake up in the morning and you decide, do I have time to take a shower, eat breakfast, get the kids ready, drive them to school, and all that good stuff. That's an algebra question, and you do that probably every day. So see, math is in your life, whether you believe it or not. Endless potential. And there is no limit on how much math or just things in general that you can learn. I just learned something new yesterday about the metric system and how to teach it, and I was super excited. So it doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, you always have the potential to learn more, and your brain actually likes it. Okay, so Carol Dweck is the guru of mindset. She talks about having a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. With a fixed mindset, you are believing that whatever you can do right now is what you're going to be able to do, that there's no way that you can actually get better at something. You can also avoid challenges because you don't want to feel that you're not capable of doing something. Or even when challenges do approach themselves, you easily give up and it's like, forget it. I'm not a math person, so I'm not going to do it anyway. So again, this is fixed. This is not what we want. Also, the perception of effort, viewing effort as pointless. It doesn't matter if I spend 2 hours on this or 2 minutes, I'm never going to get it, so why bother? Fixed mindset. We don't want that. Any kind of criticism where it's actually going to help you doing with whatever you're trying to do, you don't want to take it personal. These are not things that we want. These are fixed mindsets that we are working on to change to growth mindsets. That's why in the middle there's a little flower that's dead because it had a fixed mindset, versus a growth mindset where we have the happy flower with the pretty leaf. Some things to consider when having a growth mindset is you are excited about developing intelligence. You believe that if I put in some effort, I can do this. It might be a little difficult at first, but I will eventually get there. And you embrace a challenge. Sometimes things actually you can't get right away, and that's okay. It's called life. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to do one thing versus something else. We all have our gifts. Now, sometimes, especially with math, depending on what you've learned before, will determine how far or how much you might need to review in regards to whatever math that you're trying to complete. And persistence is the key. You know, instead of taking you 1 week to learn something, it might take a month, and that's perfectly fine. It is the persistence that is important. Just keep going. Even when there's an obstacle, we can do hard things. Repeat after me. We can do hard things. Don't just look at the computer screen. I didn't hear you. We can do hard things. One more time. We can do hard things. See? Growth mindset already setting in. And if you didn't yell to the computer screen, this is going to be really difficult for you because I do encourage participation, okay? Effort for mastery is another one. You want to recognize that, I put in a lot of work and I get this now. Unfortunately, a lot of times we will sit and we will just think about all the things that we can't do versus stuff that you can do. And learning from criticism. When someone gives you an idea, you don't want to take it personal. You want to say, okay, I hear you. I will consider that. And it completely changes how you take feedback and how you use that feedback in the future. And the guru of mathematical mindset is Jo Boaler. She takes what Carol Dweck did and she put it together with her knowledge of math. And we now looking at mathematical mindset and how those beliefs dramatically change your mathematical achievement. If you go into math with that fixed mindset that I can't do it, I don't know why I'm here, this is pointless, math has never been my thing, those kind of things really, really take you from the potential that you have to do whatever math that you were trying to learn. It might be challenging at first, but I can get through it. You'll just quit. Be like, forget it. I can't do it. We don't want to do that. When we have some kind of challenge, we want to be like, all right, this is a challenge. This is a little difficult, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to try. I'm going to do the best that I can. Why? Because doing the best that you can is all that you can do. We're going to do the best we can, and that is a growth mindset. When you get practice problems, you can even open the document and go, here we go again with these problems that I can't do and I'm not going to be able to do because math just isn't my thing. Versus, here's some problems. These might be a little bit challenging because I am learning. We are taking a course to learn. I'm learning something. I can do this. If you go in with enthusiasm, you will be surprised at just how much better your achievement can be. She's shown that when students go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, it dramatically changes their mathematical achievements. If you would like to read the article, there is the source. Now, I don't want you to sit here and be like, but Bridget, what about anxiety? Math anxiety is real. I don't want anybody to think that I'm just saying, okay, get over it and have this great mindset. No, okay? Math anxiety is a real thing. If that is coming up, you first want to acknowledge your feelings. I'm anxious because from my previous experience. You can take deep breaths to calm your nerves. I know it sounds strange to some people, but it's becoming more of a thing. They are teaching it in some schools, actually. So take some deep breaths, calm your nerves, and then you want to not think of everything as, I have 50 questions to answer. Oh my goodness. And then your anxiety is going to kick in. One step at a time. Okay, let me focus on question 1. Let's do question 1. The questions can be broken down into steps. Let's break this down into steps. When you are acknowledging your feelings, say, why is this happening? What is causing this anxiety? And typically it's because of a past experience or experiences that you have had. And you can remind yourself, today is a new day. I am in a new space, and I do not let the past affect what I'm going to be doing in the future, especially regarding anything dealing with school. You know, people say, I had that one teacher that changed everything for me. And they typically say it in a positive way. Well, sometimes people had that one teacher that changed everything. Think about why you might be a little bit anxious and realize you're doing something new. You are recognizing your feelings, first of all, and your feelings are valid. Hopefully, through time, you will learn some ways to help when you do feel anxiety. And my favorite is to visualize succeeding. Man, when I was playing sports, that was the best thing we would do. We would lay on the floor before a volleyball game, and she would say, visualize, whatever you're doing. If you are hitting the ball, if you're digging the ball, if you're setting the ball, visualize you doing it. Visualizing us winning the game. And it really does make a difference. I know sometimes we think like, that's not going to make a difference, but it does. It really does. Let's go into a little bit of research. I'm not just making this stuff up, I promise. Students with a growth mindsets have greater improvements with their math skills, period. When you learn how to control anxiety if you have some, one way to do that is by having a positive mindset. It reduces the anxiety and stress that can be related to just doing math in general. And also, whenever your mindset becomes positive, it can really make a difference with how much you enjoy what you're doing, whether it be math or something else. Perspective is everything. If you go into a scenario or you go into anything where you're thinking this is going to be horrible, you're probably going to conduct your way in a certain way versus if you go into something saying, this is going to be good. Even though you might can think of things that can make it not so good, when you go in with that positive energy, it can actually make a huge difference, especially in how much you enjoy whatever it is that you're doing. Unfortunately, some people think that mistakes are a bad thing. Let's reframe this. Mistakes are learning opportunities. They highlight areas where you just need a little bit more practice. And you don't want to take mistakes as a bad thing. Again, they're just showing you different places on where we need a little bit more practice. You correct errors when you are enhancing your memory, even memorizing, and when you understand something different. It really does help your brain connect, and your brain actually grows when you make mistakes. The cool thing about mistakes is sometimes they lead to things you would have never thought about had you not made that mistake. I think a lot of the foods that we eat, people didn't plan on making that a food, but it was kind of an error that just ended up tasting really good. And mistakes help with confidence building. How? Because when you make a mistake, figuring out what the mistake was and then not doing the next time is going to boost your confidence. The magic word of yet. For example, let's say you have this limiting belief of, I can't solve this problem. Yet. It shifts your perspectives. I can't solve this problem. I can't solve this problem yet. When you see yourself saying or thinking things that are of a limited belief, add that yet. It shifts your perspective from a dead end to a challenge. And approach that problem with some renewed energy and stay curious. Like, I wonder why I can't solve this problem. Let's figure it out. Figuring it out is a good thing. Unfortunately, because we have so much technology that can do things for us, we don't have to figure out a lot of things. And when the AI or Alexa or Siri can't answer your question, you might get a little frustrated because now you have to go figure it out yourself, which is a challenge, which you can do because we can do hard things. There is going to be a challenge, and that is a good thing. You don't want to give up just keep going. And you will see that if I just take a little bit more time, and if I'm not trying to rush through things, I can actually understand more than I'm giving myself credit for. You're going to learn from your mistakes, but most importantly, you want to celebrate your progress. We sit there, I did okay. I could have done better, and look at all the stuff I don't know. I have students, I just got a 75. You know 75% of the information that you had to go through, but we're so used to focusing on the 25% that we don't, you forget that that's a lot. Knowing 75% is a lot. You do want to celebrate the progress that you are making. There are studies that actually show when you have a growth mindset, your academic achievement is going to improve. And it actually improves significantly higher than when you have a fixed mindset. Keep that in mind. There's actually research that says if I try to change my mindset, it's going to help me, not just academically, but just in life in general. Now let's talk about your math makeover action plan. First thing that we're going to do is catch those negative thoughts when they come. When you hear the, I can't do math. When you hear the, I'm not a math person. When you hear those voices coming in, you're going to say, not today. You ain't coming in this brain. I know about this. I learned about this. This is a fixed mindset, and I am not about that life. We're going to change those statements from I can't to I'm learning how to. And it doesn't even have to be math related. It can be anything that you're learning. And we want to make sure that we celebrate all the steps, whether it's small or large. Just make sure that you celebrate yourself. Unfortunately, sometimes we only focus on the things that we haven't learned yet, but you want to give yourself some credit for the things that you have learned. Make a mantra. Again, earlier I told you whether you think you can or can't, you're right. That's my mantra. You can use mine, or you can make up one on your own. You want to repeat this to yourself whenever you are facing a challenge with math or just in general. Whatever you tell yourself really does make a difference. You got this. You got to believe in yourself. Put in some effort. It might be some early mornings, some late nights. You might have to do things that you are a little bit uncomfortable with, but keep going. It's that resilience. I didn't quite get this. That does not mean I will never get it. It just means right now I'm going to have to come to it a different way. Sometimes you might just need a break. I say 45 minutes is as long as you need to go doing anything. After 45 minutes, you need to take a break, especially when you are doing things that are challenging. Even if you're in the zone, stop. 45 minutes, stop and take your break. Your brain needs it. It can't really tell you. So I'm telling for him or her or they. I'm telling you, that brain needs a minute. So please take that minute. And then again, celebrate yourself. Celebrate that I did it. And the more you do hard things, the more you believe you can do hard things. You want to remember something that was hard is now easy for you to do, right? And stuff that you haven't done before, it's always hard before it's easy, okay? Don't negate the things that you can do, because you can do a lot of things. And math isn't about being some kind of genius. It's about being brave enough to try, to keep trying, and being resilient enough to make mistakes, but smart enough to keep going. Show those numbers who is boss. You got this, and I got you. Positive math mindset. If you need to watch it again, please do. Watch it as many times as you need to. It will make a difference. You have a great day, and you got this. Bye.